Hello and welcome back to my channel. This channel is about my maintaining a weight loss of 11 stone and 9 pounds, and I want to talk about my week. I made a conscious effort this week to up my walking by quite a bit to compensate for the fact that on Saturday night I had decided to have a 75 sin packet of peanut butter M&Ms. These M&Ms were a gift and I'd had them about 3 weeks at that point. I didn't want to change my plan of eating for the week. I wanted to stick to my 2 A's, 2 B's and 11 sins. So I knew I needed to manage it this week, and to manage it I chose to up my walking. So in the last 6 days we've walked a total of 88 kilometres, which in old money is 55.22 miles, and we've thoroughly enjoyed every step of it. The weather's been conducive with walking this week, and we've had a great week. So my results for this week with my 2 A's, my 2 B's and my 11 sins were a maintain, which is spot on what I need, but in all honesty I would have liked a £0.5 loss. Now I don't know why I would like a £0.5 loss. It's still some of that old mentality, isn't it, of losing weight feels good. So it's actually good to get a maintain, because I need to learn that that is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be aiming for losses, I'm supposed to be aiming for maintains. So I'm very happy with my result this week. It was a really nice morning at group. We've had more people reaching target. We've had quite a lot of awards this week, and yes, a very, very encouraging meeting. One of the things Naomi touched on was, when do we pick up those little bits that count as extras and we don't sin them? And I don't think there was a person in the room this morning, and it was a pretty full room, who actually could have held their hands up and said, I don't do this. I think it's something that I did for many years, but today, thank goodness, I'm really aware of it. So if I have a piece of cheese in my hand and I want to grate 30 grams and I'm left with 4 or 5 grams in my fingers, I don't pop it into my mouth today, I pop it into the bin. Because those little bits were what used to keep me confused about why I wasn't losing. If I did something like that most days, like I picked up a sweet when I passed the bowl in the kitchen, or I didn't quite weigh something and didn't quite measure something accurately, those were the little bits that I used to get very, very annoyed about, because they shouldn't make a difference, but they do make a difference. So I'm grateful for today that I don't do that anymore. I measure, I weigh, I am responsible for everything I choose to eat, even the little bits. My word for this week is relationship. What I've been looking at from a health perspective is my relationship with food. When I look back over many years, I had a very, very unhealthy relationship with food. If I wanted it, I ate it, and I didn't care whether I was already full or I already felt ill, or I knew that what I was choosing to eat was bad for me. I just wanted it, so I had it. Very much like, you can see me, the Mardi girl stamping her foot. I want it, so I'm going to have it. Richard could probably relate very well to that. He's had years of witnessing that. But my attitude today is really quite different, except to say that if I want it today, it tends to be something healthy. So my choices have changed, because where I would have chosen white bread with lashings of Lurpak and a good thick layer of cheese, today I choose not to eat bread. We don't have butter in the house, and cheese I have a moderate amount that's weighed on plan. So my behaviour is different because of this plan. When I think about the way I eat today, so often when I'm speaking with my friends who are healthy exercise type people, they talk about living a sort of 80-20 lifestyle. So aiming for 80% of really good, healthy, sustaining food and 20% of a little of what you fancy. And I was thinking this week when we were out walking, actually, you know, I think that's what Slimming World has given me. 80% of what I eat is free food, speed food, healthy extra A, healthy extra B, or in my case, 2 healthy extra A's and 2 healthy extra B's to maintain. So that would make up roughly 80% of what I choose to eat today. The other 20% of the calories I take in come from my sins. Now, I know today that I can sin absolutely anything I want. If I wanted to spend all of my sins on chocolate or alcohol or crisps or whatever, I'm at liberty to do that because that's what the plan offers me. But looking at the way I use my sins today, I am using them in a healthier way than I was when I started the plan 15 months ago. Back in those days, I chose to use them mainly on crisps. No, why did I say crisps? I meant chocolate. Brain fog. I chose to use them mainly on chocolate. Today, I do still have chocolate when I choose to, but I don't have it for the reasons I used to. And the reasons I used to have chocolate was very much I was still the girl who I want it, so I'm going to have it. Today, I have chocolate because I actually fancy a little bit of chocolate. And I can have a healthy relationship with chocolate today because I know I don't need to buy the family size bars anymore. I know I don't need to buy 4 or 5 bars at a time anymore. I mean, Richard and Joe could both tell you about the way I was around chocolate. I couldn't walk into our local paper shop and choose a bar of chocolate and say come out with a Bounty or a Snicker or whatever, a Crunchy or something. I would always have my eye on 5 different bars. And again, the Mardy attitude, I want it, I'm going to have it. Don't care what anybody says, you can tell me this is not good for me, I'm not listening. And I would always come out with at least 4 bars of chocolate. And if Richard would say, look Jane, try and only have 2 bars or something, I'd have the 2 biggest bars, the 2 family size bars. And it wasn't because it wasn't because I needed it. It felt like I needed it in those days. It was a drug of choice. Today, I'll have it when I really want it because I know I'm going to enjoy it as part of my daily eating plan. I will not wipe out the whole of a good day's eating just for the sake of a big bar of chocolate. It's not worth it. So my relationship with food has changed dramatically. If I know that I'm wanting to go out and buy things like cartons of custard, that's a warning sign to me because there's something going on behind that. So I need to stop and look at why am I wanting to behave like this. And often there's a very simple reason. I'm tired, I'm irritable, you know, things haven't quite gone the way I wanted them to. And when I stop and recognise that feeling, usually the wanting for the custard or whatever, the comfort food has gone. So today it's about being honest, it's about being real, it's about being grown up instead of being that Mardy child. When I look back over many years, I was talking to Joe this week about when I had to have my gallbladder removed because I had a gallstone. I often hear people say they had gallstones. I didn't, I had one that size. And the surgeon was so impressed by the size of it, he put it in a special pot and gave it to me. And I kept it for many years. It was massive. I think it must have filled my gallbladder. But why did I need my gallbladder removing at the age of 35? Totally because of my poor relationship with food. I lived on fat and carbohydrates and unhealthy foods. And looking up on the web, you know, what causes gallstones? Most of it is down to diet. I remember saying to my doctor at the time, where have I got gallstones? And he smiled and he said, oh, it's an old wives thing, you know, fair, fat and 40. I thought, cheeky bugger, I'm only 35. But joking apart, you know, there is a huge correlation between diet and things like gallstones.
It's not fat and carbohydrate that caused it, though. It's an excess of both, and refined carbohydrate.
Yeah, an excess. So not the moderate amount that a normal
because like
slim
a sweet
person.
potato or a jacket potato or
they're carbohydrates.
Yeah, carbohydrates.
I think with me, it was really fat. I ate way too much fat. Yeah. And looking at that, well, I mean, I must have ate an excess of something to have been around. I think I was about 18 stone at that point. And what I've noticed, I meet a lot of people who talk about, they're waiting for gallbladder surgery or cholecystectomies or whatever they call it today. And nowadays, very fortunate with keyhole surgery. I was in a difficult position when I had mine done because they'd only just started keyhole surgery. And so, bless him, my father-in-law paid for me to have mine done privately, so I didn't have to have 3 months off work. And I was back at work 9 days after my op. It's that amazing. So if anybody out there is waiting to have their gallbladder removed and you're heading for keyhole surgery, I'd say to you, don't worry a minute. And it was not a bad experience. And the recovery rate is smashing. And as long as you learn from it, which is what I should have done but didn't do, I think then it's not a wasted experience. If I had learned at that point in my life not to keep pigging out to excess, I wouldn't have struggled for the next 25 years of my life, would I? So things like that, my very, very unhealthy relationship with food caused problems like that. And I was very, very poorly for quite a while before I finally got around to having the operation. And those of you out there who've experienced this and had the operation or are waiting for the operation will know the pain from gallstones. Well, people tell me it's tantamount to the pain from childbirth. I've never been in labour because I had a section, but it was, looking back on it, and again, Richard, if you're watching this, you'll remember. I was very, very poorly. So I'm grateful today that because of Slimming World, I have a much healthier relationship with food. And I'm learning more about my own body and about what works for me, what keeps me healthy, what makes me feel good, what helps with things like bowel function, and all of these things that are really important to a healthy way of living today. One of the things that Joe's been encouraging me with over the last week, and it's been part of my journey for this week, has he regularly takes apple cider vinegar in an organic form. And he's encouraged me to try it this week. And I have been having a glass of water about this big with 1 tablespoon of, or is it organic apple cider vinegar?
Organic, raw,
cold pressed
apple
cider vinegar, which Joe buys in Boots. So I've been having 1 tablespoon of that with half a juice of a lemon. And I have to say, it's a really refreshing drink for first thing in the morning. So, yeah, if I start to feel any real health benefits of it, I'll report back because I've actually quite enjoyed it. That leads me to sharing this with you, which is one of my gadgets, or one of Joe's gadgets. But most of you will recognise this as a lemon squeezer. I'm not sure what I thought it was when a friend bought it for us. But you literally put your lemon cut side down into the bottom here. I wanted to put it in the other way up, but then I'm always awkward. Put it cut side down into there, close the top over, and the shape of this part turns the lemon inside out and all the juice comes out of the bottom. And I have to say, over the years, we've had juicers, lemon juicers of all sorts of descriptions. But I think this is the best one, isn't it, Joe?
It's good.
It's very good because you literally just end up with an inside-out lemon skin or lime skin. So, as I say, that was a gift, but you can buy them on the internet, probably Amazon, for about £14. So, yeah, I'm getting into a healthier relationship with food. I'm consciously trying to manage the way I eat on a daily basis to achieve a healthier relationship with food.
It's really important to appreciate feeling well, because the other day when I ate that cashew, it makes you.
Oh yeah.
It makes you seriously appreciate how much for granted you take feeling healthy.
We do. Joe has a problem with peanuts, and during the week I was eating Naked bars.
Persuaded me to try it.
I persuaded him to try it. Now, the fact that I persuaded him to try it when we were 5 miles away from home probably added to the problem, but he only bit the end off the bar, and within 30 seconds, 45 seconds, his mouth was tingling, his throat was closing up. He was having an allergic reaction, and he was doing the, I can't breathe. And I am so maternal, so very maternal. I said, oh, stop making such a bloody fuss and breathe through your nose.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Stop making such a fuss. Keep walking. Bless him.
Spent the whole afternoon bent double.
By the time we'd walked the 5 miles home, he was literally bent double, almost on the floor. And, so as he says, it's really good to appreciate healthy food and the benefits of healthy food. But if you have a problem with peanuts, be careful with cashew nuts. I shouldn't be laughing, but you had to be there to appreciate how funny it was. Not from where he was standing, it was just where I was. Honestly, I have not got a maternal bone in my body. I'm terrible. I have no compassion, no sympathy or empathy. I just like, oh, for goodness sake, my attitude in life is just get on with it. He survived, bless him. So, he's trying to encourage me into healthier ways of looking at food. And I do have to say, I could not feel better than I feel today. I feel fit, I feel well, I feel brighter, I've got more enthusiasm and more energy for life. I've got clearer thinking these days because I used to have such a foggy head, even though I can't always tell crisps from chocolate. But I used to have fuzzy, zoned out head. I'm much quicker and brighter, and I've got a zest for life. I think that's the way to say it. And this is purely because I have a better relationship with food. And people talk about eating clean, and I think I might have used that phrase. I'm not really sure what it means. I don't know whether I eat clean today, but I eat a damn sight cleaner than I used to. And I'm really grateful for that. Product of the week. 3 cans of the same product. This one is steamed mackerel by John West. Yeah. This one is grilled mackerel by John West. This one is peppered mackerel by John West. Now I am going to try probably the steamed one. I'm not a big fan of mackerel because it's a bit fishy for me. But
if I'm honest, it's the grilled one that's the least fishy out of all of them.
I'll try the grilled one then. Joe eats these. He also likes the mackerel in sauces, specifically the Aldi one with tomato sauce.
But John West do a lot of other saucy mackerel fillets that
are they
Sims? Free.
No, they do some free ones.
Yeah, quite a few of them are free, and there's some quite interesting flavours.
So it's another addition to your diet if you like oily fish, which is very good for us. Now these currently in Morrison's are 2 for £2. Their actual price is £1.70 each. So it's a good saving. Also in Morrison's this morning, I like my big fat-free total yogurts. Are they 500 mils, 500 grams?
Yeah,
the big ones. Now, the full price on those would appear to be £2.47 or £2.40 if you're lucky. Very occasionally they come on offer in the supermarkets at £2 each. But in Morrison's this morning, well spotted by Joe, 2 for £3. So there you are, Donna, because you wanted to try that. So that's a good buy, 2 for £3. It's the cheapest I've ever seen it.
There's some all right dates on it as well.
Yeah, because there were like 3 weeks on some of them, weren't there? So that's the things I want to encourage you with today.
Oh, and while we're on the subject of fish, people need to be careful with tuna.
Oh, come on, Joe, tell us why.
Yeah, just don't overeat on tuna because, it's one of those things it's low calories, it's high in protein, it's fairly cheap if you get it on offer. Like, surely that's great for losing weight, but like, it contains a lot of mercury, which is a heavy metal that can really mess with like brain function. So yeah, stay clear of too much tuna. I'd recommend only probably eating it once or twice a week at a push, but yeah, don't overdo it on the tuna.
And I think you learnt that from experience, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is a boy who used to eat it every day, and the medics tell you, be careful. So, there you go for this week. I've had a good week. I've had an active week. I still can't believe that I've walked 88 kilometres. Doesn't that sound a long way? I mean, 55 miles, it sounds a long way too, but yeah, I can't promise I'll do it again next week. I've got a busy week. But it did pull back what I'd expended on the peanut butter chocolate M&Ms. So I'm not very good at saying, oh, I've had 75 sins. That would have been 5 days worth of sins in that bag of M&Ms. So what should I have done? Had 0 sins for 5 days? No. Deprivation doesn't work for me. So turned up the exercise, undid the damage. If there would have been any damage, I'm not sure. But it felt better to be doing something positive than to be worrying about it. And I'm still working on strategies to cope with the relationships I have with food. And I'm seeing changes. I'm feeling better. I'm reacting differently. And for me, the bonus this month has been, for the last 4 weeks, I've been 10 stone 5. 4 weeks in a row. Now that is unheard of, because I would have been either going up or coming down. And when I think about it, another one of the causes of gallstones, and I think I contributed to this one too, is rapid dieting. So the days when I used to be on and off liquid diets, there's a huge connection between doing that and getting gallstones. So I can't change it. I've done the damage. I've paid the price. But for those youngsters out there who are, still craving a way to lose weight quickly, my advice would be read up on things like this. I'm not saying don't do any of it. You've got to find your own ways. I wouldn't think for 1 minute I had any right to tell you how to lose weight. But just do your homework, do your research.
And be willing to take it slow.
Yeah, be willing to take it slowly. We had more people get to Target this morning in group, and on YouTube this week, and on my messages on my vlogs, there are people getting to Target all of the time. And this is thrilling, because many, many years ago, my growing up through Slimming World, it was very, very rare to see people getting to Target. Most of us, including me, quit before we ever got there, or thought we knew better. But every week now, I'm getting messages on my videos. I'm going to group and it's happening. I'm watching YouTube and, amazing people, young people, older people, every age group. You're making Target. And it's fabulous. It's so encouraging, because I cannot tell you, we just never used to see it happen. And I've been around this plan for 40 years. So I've seen a lot of people come and go. But I've seen a very small percentage get to Target. So if you've got to Target this week, I celebrate with you. Congratulations, a wonderful achievement. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for being there and supporting me and helping me to make this diary as a reminder for myself of where I've been and to help me look forward to where I'm going. Thank you for the lovely messages and all your contributions to helping each other in the messages. They are really appreciated. We'll be back next week, and we've got a big meal out tomorrow because Richard has a birthday on Monday, but I'm going to do it on plan. So we'll see you next week. Have a brilliant week, and remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Cheers. Bye.